Crota has been out for about 19 hours as of the recording of this video, and I just completed it like 30 minutes ago. Now, something Bungie did that was a little bit different this time around is if you do Crota's End during contest mode, period, if you go to the vendor, you can actually acquire Nechrocasm, the exotic weapon, just right there. And if you can't get it within the contest mode window, you have to complete an entire quest line to get it unlocked. Now, thankfully, I was able to get it within that contest mode window, so is it any good? And as per usual with exotic primaries, it's a little bit complicated. So how about we discuss how this weapon even works? The exotic perk for this weapon is Curse Bringer. And if you've played D1 and actually used this weapon, it's gonna feel pretty familiar. Precision final blows with the weapon will trigger a cursed thrall explosion. Final blows with this explosion will refill your magazine. The trait to accompany Curse Bringer is Desperation. It's a bit of a play on Desperado. Reloading after a precision final blow, or a final blow with explosions, increases RPM and improves stability and aim assist. The weapon itself is pretty simple. Shoot things and they go boom. That's about as much as you're going to get from this gun. A secret perk though that I did find and that they did not mention on the gun is the explosion of Cursebringer has a kind of pseudo poison effect where any enemies not killed by the initial explosion will have a type of poison applied to them. And if they die to the poison, they also explode. So that's pretty awesome. So how does this weapon actually perform? Is it any good? It's kind of complicated. In terms of pure ad clear potential, this weapon may be one of, if not the best, for simple clearing of trash ads. The explosions are powerful enough to kill most red bar enemies and do significant damage to yellow bars as well, and the explosions will chain if they kill other enemies within the vicinity. So it's not just one big explosion, you get a chain reaction of multiple explosions depending on the amount of enemies you kill. And that's just awesome. Where this weapon falls off is the gun part of the gun. This weapon, with just its bullets, doesn't really do much damage at all. Fighting majors is significantly harder with this weapon than any other exotic primary I've used so far. So much so that I think it may be a bug or a potential balancing oversight. Desperation doesn't really significantly help in dealing damage to those bigger targets, but it does very little to actually increase the damage output in a way that helps. I will say it is so damn fun to just shoot things with this gun. The gun is stable, it sounds great, and explosions are never not going to be fun. As for the catalyst, we have no idea what it does nor how we get it, seeing as the raid has been out for only a day. Unless someone figures out catalyst on contest mode already, but that would just be crazy and kind of hurt my feelings. If you're interested at all in finding out what the catalyst is or just what the catalyst does, make sure to subscribe and click the bell to stay notified of when that video goes live, because as soon as it's live, I will be going to get that catalyst and I will be making a video on it as soon as I possibly can. But for the most part, Nechrocasm is just a really fun gun. It just makes things explode, and do you really need more than that, honestly? Now, post-contest, as far as how this weapon will be acquired, there will be 3 separate versions of this weapon. The Husk of the Pit, the Eidolon's Ally, and then you have the Nechrocasm. These are upgraded portions of each other. Just like D1, if you've played D1, it's going to feel very similar, but once you get this quest or you acquire the Husk of the Pit, you're going to have to probably end up doing a lot of triumphs from the Crota's End raid. This will give you essences of Oversoul, which will allow you to progress the quest line that you need to progress to actually get the Nechrocasm. Now, I can't say for certain that that is exactly how it will go, but it does say on the TWAB that you will need these fragments post-contest mode to be able to acquire the Nechrocasm on your own time. As for the other versions of Nechrocasm, aka the lower tier versions, you will start out with Husk of the Pit, which as far as I can tell has 0 perks and is just a gun, which makes it even worse than Destiny 2 vanilla weapons considering it doesn't have any perks. And as you play the raid and you upgrade it, you might have to farm some kills because that's what you had to do in D1, but once you're done with that, you can upgrade it to the Eidolon's ally and then do the same for that. Once again, I can't speak for the whole questline because I don't have it because I can't have it. I have the gun, so that means I can't get the questline. But if it's as straightforward as Bungie insinuated in their article, then it must be pretty easy. Now, as far as exotics, I feel really bad saying this, but Necrotic Grip does not work with this weapon. It worked with Thorn, it worked with Osteostriga, but it doesn't work with Nechrocasm. When I tested it out, I got very, very sad. As far as some exotics that do work, I will name one from each class. For Warlocks, Chromatic Fire might actually be a very good choice, seeing as Nechrocasm is a kinetic weapon. It doesn't have any strand or stasis sort of elements to it, though I do think it's a bit of a missed opportunity, seeing as it shoots green bullets, so it might be strand, but guess not. Chromatic Fire would actually help boost the damage of this just a teeny bit, seeing as you would have double explosions going off every time you get a precision kill. That just sounds pretty nice. As far as hunters, you don't really have much to work with, seeing as most stuff is ability based or whatever. To help out with your low damage towards majors, you can use Knucklehead Radar, seeing as that does actually affect your damage on enemies that are close to low health. So if it's a major or a boss enemy, you can still manage to do a bit of extra damage. Granted, it's not the greatest buff in the world, but as far as hunter exotics are concerned, that's about as good as you're going to get. And lastly, for Titans, you have the absolute perfect exotic for this type of weapon, that being Actium War Rig. Actium War Rig will reload your auto rifles and machine guns by themselves. It is basically an auto-loading holster slash reconstruction minus the bonus mag, but it will steadily reload your magazine, making double sure that you never have to reload. As with Cursebringer, if you get kills with your explosions, it refills your mag, and if you just happen to miss a kill, it will still reload on its own. So overall, that's just probably the best way to use this weapon in my opinion. Overall though, Nechrocasm is pretty good. I wouldn't say it's horrible, but compared to things like Quicksilver Storm, it's not going to be the greatest. In terms of pure ad clear, it might be the best option, but unless they start buffing its damage to majors just a tiny bit, it might be a little bit harder to justify using, seeing as a lot of primaries, especially exotic ones, do a lot of damage right now. Like Sunshot, Quicksilver Storm, Osteostriga. These are guns that are incredibly powerful, and it's going to be very hard for Nechrocasm to compete. But if you like guns that just make things explode and you like to have fun, this is the gun for you. And honestly, I don't think there's anything else you could need in Destiny other than just making things explode. Anyways though, that's going to be all from me today. Thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy the video, maybe leave a like or subscribe, because this took me 19 hours to get this gun. So if you appreciate that amount of effort, maybe just leave a like, say good job in the comments. I don't know, you do your own thing. But anyways, that's all from me. Like, subscribe, go watch my other stuff, and I will see you guys later. Goodbye.